A preventable form of pregnancy loss came into sharp focus when singer-songwriter ChristinaPerri talked about her experience with this very treatable condition. I'll explain that. And then, is this Frankenstein or what's going on here? Is this a major breakthrough? Pig's hearts literally placed into human beings successfully. And then the weekend warriors, you can also take heart because it may not be that you've got to work out every day of the week. When ConstanceWu, the actor from Fresh Off the Boat, talks about why she attempted suicide. I put timestamps so that you can skip to what piques your interest. If you can't use it, pass it on to somebody who can. Let's get started.
The 5-Minute Checkup with Dr. Dave.
An underappreciated cause of pregnancy loss was brought into really sharp focus this week when singer-songwriter ChristinaPerri talked about her late pregnancy loss. She was talking about the pain and the guilt that's associated with, it turns out, 2 pregnancy losses that were later found to be due to APS. It's a condition called antiphospholipid syndrome. Antiphospholipid syndrome is an autoimmune condition. Self-immune. Your immune system mistakenly develops antibodies to itself, and one of the consequences of that is that you can form clots in different places. Now, it's most commonly seen in people who have lupus. About 20 to 30% of people with lupus will develop APS. And about a third of the people who have APS will go on to again develop some clots. Not everybody, but about a third of those people. It's a diagnosable condition, right? We can take blood and look for 3 antibodies that are commonly associated with this condition. And in most cases, it's treatable with blood thinners. It turns out that ChristinaPerri is now pregnant. She reports to us that she's doing well. She is giving herself daily injections of blood thinners, and we do very much wish her well. Pig's hearts in humans, literally beating in humans. Now, I know this might invoke sort of a Frankensteinian sidewise glance, like, what are y'all doing? But this may be one of the biggest breakthroughs of our time. The team at NYU Langone is trying to solve one of the biggest puzzles in medical science, and that is they put pigs' hearts into live humans. Now, these humans were determined to be brain dead. The rest of their body's functioning normally, but their brains are not recoverable. The function of their brains is not recoverable, and their families have graciously donated their bodies to this research. The hearts that were transplanted have been genetically altered. They've been altered to try to avoid some of the pitfalls in transplant, which is the biggest one, is rejection. That when the transplanted organ goes into the body, that the body itself doesn't make antibodies against it and then destroy the organ. The other one is durability. How long does it last? You might remember that there was a man not too long ago who had a pig's heart transplanted in Maryland, and he lived about 2 months. Well, obviously the team at NYU Langone is trying to greatly improve on this and fill in some of those gaps. They have done 2 of the 3 transplants that have been allowed in the research protocol. And boy, I tell you, I'm going to keep you posted on this one, that this one may be one of the biggest breakthroughs. All right, weekend warriors, take heart. You may be able to get away with this one, and I'll eat my shirt on this one. Okay, so many of you know that I think that working out throughout the week is the best overall way to maintain your health, right? Working out throughout the week is the best way to do it. It turns out that this study, the National Health Interview Survey, with 350,000 U.S. adults in it, suggests that it may not be the only way. What this study showed was that if you can get 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity exercise, even on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, you may be almost as well off as the people who work out throughout the week. Now, you're certainly better off than people who don't work out at all, but I want you to remember one thing. You've got to choose consistency. We are what we repeatedly do, Einstein said, so you've got to be consistent. The other thing is I want you to have another way to adapt to stress. So a mindfulness technique of 10 to 15 minutes of a yoga routine or a stretching routine or just sitting and meditating for 10 to 15 minutes to wusa. Actor ConstanceWu from Fresh Off the Boat revealed that she attempted suicide after what really amounts to being bullied on social media for some comments that she had made on social media. And what I think this brings into really sharp focus is the urgent mental health realities that underpin this big gap. We just have a large gap in the crisis service. What do we do when people have crises? We've heard of so many different stories of how the very wrong thing happened to someone who required mental health crisis intervention. And so the new lifeline, which is this suicide and crisis lifeline, 988, it's a 3-digit code now. It's not a 10-digit number. A 3-digit code, 988, 988. It's free. It is confidential. Nobody knows. And it's all the time. It's 24/7. You are not alone. You are not out here alone. And it's never too late. Text or dial 988.